probably seen too, it's very individualized and unique to the person, because some people tolerate carbs very well and get great results, and some people we have to pull back carbs a little bit.
Right. I mean, it's person to person dependent. I mean, you see people that can't put on a pound to save their life. They're thin, they can't put on muscle mass. They can't put on, weight to save their life. And then the other person who's completely the opposite of the spectrum. And usually that's a metabolic thing. Usually that's something that we can help address with some of the things that we do. And I tell patients all the time, because we think very differently than, say, a family physician or even a endocrinologist or specialist, in that, we shoot for optimal, whereas a lot of physicians shoot for normal, quote unquote. Normal meaning, okay, well, if your number is between point A and point B on the reference scale, we're happy. We don't do anything with that. It's not your thyroid, because that's normal. Whereas we shoot for optimal, meaning like we want you to be at the higher end of the scale. I tell patients all the time, it's kind of like a C- and an A+ on the exam. If you could have the C+ or the A-, which would you rather have? And everybody always says, oh, I'd rather have the A+. Well, that's right, because you would rather be at the top end of the scale than the lower end of the scale. And the top end of the scale can mean enormous amounts of benefit versus the lower end of the scale, especially with things like thyroid function and testosterone levels and things like that. So, you may say, well, I went to my doctor. And again, I'm not contradicting what other doctors do, but, we just have a different philosophy. Some doctors will look at that and they'll say, everything's normal. There's nothing to do with that. And the patient will tell them, but I feel like I have low thyroid. I gain weight too easily. I'm sluggish. I want to take a nap in the middle of the day. I can't keep my eyes open. I feel depressed and anxious. All of those things are signs of low thyroid issues. And so we'll put them on a little bit of thyroid supplementation and push that level to the top end of the normal scale. And the next thing you know, the patient's lost 10 or 15 pounds. They feel better. They have better mood. All of those things kind of just boom out of the ground, come out, and they feel much better, and they're much more happy, and things are going well. So it doesn't take a lot sometimes to get you to an optimal level that kind of get things going.
Joe, with a lot of the hormones and things like that, I mean, one of the things that I've come across a few times doing evals with people is that, they've seen you've gone in the back, and they'll kind of ask, what that is. And I tell them, they're like, oh yeah, they're doing some sort of hormone replacement therapy. And I know we've talked about this, but there's a lot of different ways that you can take the hormones, from injectables to creams to oral to, I see a lot of the pellets that are in the butt cheeks and stuff like that. What are your thoughts on the most beneficial ways and the differences between those two?
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can go about it. The best answer I can give is you want to try to stay as close to and mimic as close as we can normal physiologic levels. So meaning that if you do a pellet, for instance, where they inject a pellet of medication that dissolves over the course of a month to 2 months or 3 months, that's going to have a very high level initially when you put it in, and then it's going to slowly taper off as it kind of melts within your body. So you're going to have this enormous surge, and then it's going to slowly melt away. And so you're going to have this bottoming out over the course of a couple months. So patients tend to have all kinds of side effects initially when their levels shoot up to high levels. Initially when they put the pellet in, and then they'll kind of level out a little bit, and then they'll crash after the pellet's been kind of at a point of wearing off. We don't like to use pellets. There's a lot of people that do. Some of that is financially driven in terms of they make a lot of money doing it. We don't like to do them simply because, one, it doesn't mimic your normal physiologic levels. And so people tend to have more side effects. And so we want to do more frequent dosing, so that either daily or a couple times a week dosing, so that you have a more steady state of the medication rather than this big surge and then drop off. There's also other ways you can take it. You can take, if people are like, oh, I don't want to do injections, I'm afraid of that, I don't want to do needles. There are many different ways about it. You can do pills, you can do creams. There's a lot of different options. And so, I usually have at least 2 or 3 different options for patients when they see me in terms of methods that they could take, in terms of the medications and so forth, so that there's all kinds of different ways that they could go about it. There's not just one set way that you have to do. Some people aren't needle people. Some people do have issues with that, and some people, do just fine. So everybody's a little different. So there's options. There's definitely options.
Cool.
And I know we've kind of touched a bit on weight loss and stuff with what you do and getting hormones balanced, but I think there's also so many benefits. Like if you're not just looking for weight loss, like I know when I started working with you, you found my testosterone and my progesterone were extremely low, like tanked out. And you got me on progesterone, and I started sleeping like a baby again because I was having terrible sleep. And then that in turn, gives you ambition and focus during the day. And it's just this snowball of just helping you feel better. So it's not just about the weight loss and looking better, which is important to all of us, but you just start feeling it's just crazy the difference it makes.
Yeah.
Josh, I always tease that we'll sell you our firstborn to be able to afford that med. Like, I'm never going to stop. No, you do know that's Kevin. So he's all yours.
Yeah. I mean, I think, what it comes down to is just getting you back to a normal physiologic level, especially women who are menopausal or such. I love taking care of menopausal women because they feel so awful and don't realize they feel awful because they've been that way for who knows how long. And their doctors said, it's just how it is. It's part of life. You go through menopause. It's just how it is. And you add a few little things, and the next thing you know, like the lights come on. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I felt this bad. And so, it's very gratifying to treat those patients. Now, I mean, we always tell people too, when we give you hormones, especially menopausal women who still have a uterus, we're waking things up that have been asleep for years. And so, you can have some side effects as far as, bleeding and things like that, because we're waking up your uterus that hasn't been doing anything for who knows how long. So sometimes those things happen, and we adjust the therapy and things like that. So there's a lot of communication that goes on in the first couple months as we get you on medication. We start getting you leveled out as far as where things go. So, there's a lot of back and forth talk between me and the patient to kind of make sure that they're doing okay and so on. But like I said, I enjoy taking care of those people because they tend to feel the best because they didn't realize how bad they felt. The things that I'm seeing now too is younger and younger people with hormone deficiencies in their, late teens, early 20s, especially men. And I don't know why that is. Nobody seems to know why that is, whether that's food related or stress related or, who knows? It could be plastics in our diet. That's some of the speculation. There's a lot of speculation as to why that is, but there's a lot of hormone deficiencies in young men that leads to metabolic syndrome, weight gain, fatigue, all those things that just kind of snowball. And so, it's kind of crazy. Young men who've been under stress or have had repeated head injuries, I see a lot of that. Ex-military men that have not necessarily been in combat, for instance, but have had, repeated head injuries from concussions and explosives going off and things like that. They have profound hormone deficiencies. And so it's kind of crazy, some of the things that I pick up when I do the blood tests. But that's why we're here. That's why we're doing what we're doing.
Awesome.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions that you wanted to ask him, or do you have anything that you want to add, Joe?
No, I think, we typically we'll do a consult for you and just kind of lay out a plan. So if people are interested in just talking and seeing what things are about, we're more than happy to do that. There's never any harm in checking your blood work just to see where things are at. It's actually a thing that I recommend, even if you don't do anything with us. I think it's very important to at least check your blood work at least yearly. Probably should have at least every 6 months, but yearly at least, just to see where you're at with all of your other blood levels, your blood counts, your electrolytes, your kidney functions, your liver functions, thyroid, your fasting lipids. Those are things that everybody should know, especially nowadays with the access to primary care being what it is, and the pandemic being what it is, and being able to see your doctor. As an ER doctor, I'm seeing more and more people coming in with health problems that have not necessarily been addressed over the course of the last few years because, one, they can't get in with their doctor, or two, they're doing a televisit, and so the doctor's not able to physically see them or touch them, listen to them, examine them. And so they end up in the emergency department with X, Y, or Z problem because it's been not necessarily neglected, but not addressed. And so, some of the stuff going forward in our new society as it is going to fall on the patient. And that means being proactive with your health, taking care of yourself, making sure that you have, some decent nutrition, making sure that you check your blood work and you're not having any problems with that. So, I think if people want to see us, we're more than happy to give them, a consultation quickly and let them know what we can do for them. I think there's a plan for everybody. We try to work with them within their budget and what they can do and so on and try our best to help them out for whatever we can, in terms of what they're willing to do. It's a deep rabbit hole. There's a lot of stuff you can do with hormonal medicine. Not all of it is for everybody. Some people just want to, stick a toe in the water. Some people want to dive head first. And so, a lot of different potentials there in terms of things to do.
Awesome.
Cool.
So our members know where to find you or how to get a hold of you. We've got your cards around and everything, but if someone's listening who's not a member of PNF, how do they get in touch with you?
So we will have, we have our website that you can go to, www.aspirerejuvenation.com. And that is for both of our clinics in Orlando and for Pittsburgh. We'll be having a dedicated website coming up here soon. You can also reach out through that website and schedule a consultation. We'll have staff here at the gym that they can stop in and schedule consultation. We'll have a phone number, dedicated phone number. There's that we can have people call as well. They can reach out to me personally by email. It's just joe@aspirerejuvenation.com. Any of those methods would be fine.
Well, I'll put all that in the show notes too, so people, what listening, they can, have that all right there. So,
and we'll put your social media stuff too. So if they just want to follow along and see what you guys are up to, we'll put those in the notes too, so they can check you out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. I mean, it's been a bit of a chore to get things going just with the pandemic and everything. And, some pain with the township getting permitted.
Yeah. Well, I think Tammy sent you a picture. They put your sign.
Yeah.
Sign looks good.
Sign up. So we're official now. So everything's going as planned as it goes, and the space is ready to go. So just need patience, and I hope people take an interest and stop by, because there's a lot of things we can do for people.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, and I think we'll be having that open house here. It's on the 28th
we're doing from
3 to 7. So anybody that's listening that wants to come check it out and check out Aspire or the gym, either or, we're going to be doing a dual one here. Come stop by. We'll have some drinks. We'll probably have like some cheese and crackers, just kind of some things like that. But Joe can talk to you about what they do and see if there might be some some solutions there for you working with them. We'll be more than glad to show you around the gym and everything like that too. So
no, absolutely.
Yeah. So mark your calendars for that, and we'll, hopefully see some of you guys there. So.
Awesome. Well, like I said, I hope people reach out. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer any questions. There's no problems with that. I love talking to people that, just have felt that there's something wrong, but they can't seem to put their finger on it, and they've dealt with their doctor or what have you, and just seem to be treading water. Those are typically the people that we end up finding some issues with. Like I said, using what's available with both the gym and the stuff that we do, and Tammy with the nutrition counseling, I think people can really, kind of put all the pieces together and really get themselves on track. And I think, I've been challenging a lot of people. I'm like, this is the year, we've had 2 years now where things have just been kind of a mess. And, we've all kind of got a little lackadaisical with our health and with our stress level and our diet and all that kind of stuff. And so, I think at some point you got to just put your foot in the ground and say, okay, we're just going to get serious now, and none of this nonsense anymore. So
absolutely.
So, hopefully more people can do that this year and get back on track, and, we'll be happy to help.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
thanks for taking some of your time today. I appreciate it.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. So stay tuned. More to come as far as Aspire Rejuvenation and Pittsburgh North Fitness and all kinds of good stuff.
We'll have to do this again.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you on again.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm more than happy to talk at any point with any members that have questions. They can reach out to me anytime. I'm more than happy to answer questions and help them with anything that they might have. And I'll be at the gym more often, as the weeks go on here with the office opening up, and we'll have some staff there as well that can answer questions too if there's anything that they might have as they're there at the gym working out or what have you.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Joe. Thank you guys for listening. And, we'll be doing this every week with, different guests, different topics. So be sure to check out Aspire and let us know if you have any questions.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts and rate and review us.